go again?
Oh, no, not again.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Dom, how long have we been doing this?
Once more unto the bridge, dear friends.
Again and again and again until we're both dead.
Hello, welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews connection of mine. Fast X is the 10th film of the Fast franchise, the 11th if you include Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. And this film is directed by franchise first-timer Louis Leterrier and stars all the members of the family, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Jordana Brewster, John Cena, all of them. And alongside some franchise newcomers, including Jason Momoa and Brie Larson. And this time, we pick up right where we left off with the family going on missions, except this time it's personal, as the villain this time has a grudge against Toretto and the team for their actions in Fast 5, and no one is safe from his wrath. Now, this review will contain spoilers of Fast X. I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts first and foremost. However, there'll be some spoilers later on in this review. But let's get into, first off, some spoiler-free thoughts on Fast X. Is it worth the watch? Is it a good continuation of the Fast franchise? I would say yes, it's definitely a fun movie if you go in knowing what you're getting into. Because, as many have pointed out, these movies are absurd. I mean, these are just live-action cartoons, and in fact, I noticed this when I rewatched all the previous films leading up to the release of Fast X, and I noticed, in the earlier films, the Fast and the Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift, I think the first 4, maybe even 5, had the prominent warning of motor stunts depicted in this movie were done by professionals. Please don't do this on your at home, because back when it was just stealing DVD players, they were reasonably realistic car stunts. Now that you got cars driving down the vertical face of a dam, they don't play that disclaimer anymore right at the end of the credits, because I feel like if you're going into this at this point, you're watching a live action cartoon. And if you approach it on that basis, then this movie is actually a lot of fun, and that's pretty much wholly due to Jason Momoa as Dante Reyes, the son of Hernan Reyes, the villain from Fast 5. They do some clever retconning and I went back and looked for the footage. You don't actually see the driver of that car's fate, the driver of that car clearly enough for it not to be Jason Momoa driving the car that gets smacked by the safe into the water. So yeah, he was there. He's back with a vengeance, and I love that they make a note of this, that he was dead for 2 minutes, maybe a little oxygen starved, and he acts like a freaking maniac. And you can tell that Jason Momoa is just having a ball with this. I mean, he is owning every single second that he is on screen, because he knows he's here to have the time of his life as the villain. He's here to be an over-the-top cartoony villain, and he plays that to perfection. I mean, like, there's one scene in particular. I won't spoil. I won't give too much detail on what's going on in this scene, just because I want you to go in fresh, knowing what this particular scene is. But one scene in particular, which is just goes to show just how unhinged he is, but it's also probably the funniest scene in the movie. It's a little bit dark, but it involves some nail polish. I'll say no more. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Jason Momoa is such a versatile actor in a lot of these roles, and he plays this role to perfection. And that's really what makes this movie work, because, like I said, get a lot of the usual, you grow up, the usual, it's all about family, and I gotta protect my family, and you threaten my family, and we've seen this through several movies at this point, and those tropes, if you're looking forward to them, they're there, and they're covered by them, but they are definitely getting stale, and it is very frustrating when you get characters like Jordana Brewster's Mia Toretto, and she could do a lot with this. However, because again they're still struggling due to the untimely death of Paul Walker, because in universe Mia is with Brian, and Brian's just off with their kids somewhere, and when stuff goes down, when Jason Momoa's character is coming for the family, she basically said, "Oh, I gotta go find Brian and the kids," and she's just out for the rest of the movie. And it's like, you could do so much more with her. She's such a good character, and you need her to balance out a lot of the things. Frankly, a lot of the testosterone going on in this movie, and you don't get that. And that's a bit of a loss. Also, there are other returning characters that are for kind of letdowns, honestly. Like you get Charlize Theron's back as Cypher, and in the trailers you see her and Letty go in a fist fight. Yes, you get the fist fight, but there's really not much else to Cypher's character. Brie Larson is in this as a member of the agency that the teams have been working with these last few movies. She's definitely there, and she does contribute near the end, but again, this doesn't. She doesn't contribute a whole ton to this, and I think what holds this movie back, and this is a problem that I kind of forgot about just because we haven't seen this in a while, but this Fast X, I will say it does end on a cliffhanger, because they filmed Fast X and Fast 11 back to back, and now Vin Diesel is suggesting that there might be a 12th movie somewhere along the line as well that really wrap things up. But this kind of has that same along those lines where, if you went to see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and you're like, oh man, this, it's the last stuff, it's getting good, and then credits start, it's like, oh, we're only going to get resolution, next year with the next movie, and I don't know if Fast 11 is going to come out next year. It might be 2 years, in fact. So this feels like an incomplete movie, and that's what holds this movie back, in my opinion. And also, what also holds this movie back is, frankly, for a series that's built itself at this point on getting even more and more outlandish on car stunts. It really seems like they kind of scaled back a little bit, which is understandable because the last movie they literally went to space in a Fiero, and once you go to space, I mean, where do you go from there? You kind of have to scale back, so that is a bit of a disappointment on that front as well. But overall, I would say definitely had a lot of fun with this. I think if you're a fan of the Fast franchise, you're going to get a kick out of this as well. It is disappointing that that there is that we're going to have to wait at least a year or more for the continuation of this. But this movie will get reassessed in the context of once Fast 11 comes out. Then you can watch them back to back. Then you can maybe reassess some of the things in this movie. But for right now, if I was going to give Fast X a letter grade, I would say this is a B. Like I said, this is not my favorite of the Fast movies, but it is definitely a decent enough entry. We'll call it a placeholder for for going on. It's almost like Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. You had to, if you weren't all that impressed with Infinity War, you want to see all the great hero moments, you're gonna have to wait another movie until Endgame. I feel like you're gonna have to wait another movie. You're gonna have to wait till Fast 11 and possibly Fast 12 to get the really, these are supposed to be the finales. We're gonna get those big, character catharsis moments in those movies at this point. So those are my spoiler-free thoughts on Fast X. Now let's get into the spoiler talk as certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. So like I said, they did scale down the action quite a bit in this movie, possibly because, the action's going to get shoved to Fast 11 or Fast 12. But, the two main action set pieces we get are, the giant flaming bomb rolling through the streets of Rome and the Dom's chase on the highway leading up to driving down the dam. And that rolling down, chasing the ball down the hill, I couldn't help but get some Raiders of the Lost Ark vibes from that. Just, having to outrun a giant rolling thing down the streets that's going to kill you. Not exact. Obviously, they gave it the Fast and Furious spin on it, but yeah, that's I couldn't help but feel that. And also, the plot point where the agency basically turns on the team, which again we've seen this before from various spy movies, such as the Mission Impossible franchise, or you go back to Captain America: Winter Soldier, where Shield turns on Cap at that point. We've seen that trope a lot, but I don't. Again, it's not like. We haven't seen this happen even in this franchise. So it doesn't have the same weight again like we've seen it have even in a couple movies ago. Plus, and I may have missed it on this, but what happened to Scott Eastwood's character? I feel like he was an ally. He was on the agency. He was in the agency. He jumps out of that SUV or whatever before it blows up, and he's rolling on the ground. Did he die? It's like, because there's no reason for him not to be in the rest of the movie, I don't think, unless he gets arrested and never again. That was so weird. I feel like that's a plot hole unless I missed the scene where he dies. But there's some other, subtle continuity things that are going on here. One is, I feel like there were, again, if you've never seen any of the other Fast movies, there is some necessary context that needs to be established between Fast 5 and this. So I get why the first 10 minutes or so is, basically replaying the heist, the safe chase from Fast 5, but there were way too many flashbacks to this. And I also didn't buy, the agent who is, by the end, surprise, he was on my payroll the whole time. It's like, yeah, that, maybe for a split second, it's like, okay, that we should, that everyone should see that should have seen that coming at that point. But the one thing that I simply can't forgive is the very end. Again, we're getting another resurrection. This time we get, once Cypher and Letty are walking through Antarctica to their rendezvous. We see the sub come out of the ice, and Giselle is there, Gal Gadot's character, who we last saw plummet to her presumed death on the runway in Fast 6. However, Ian Shaw survived that with a bit of a runway rash and in a coma for a bit, but that was at the beginning of Fast 7, and by Fast 8, F8 he's fine again. So it's not inconceivable that we get another resurrection of a character who's presumed dead. But I'm more concerned about where did that sub come from. I feel like they're trying to, because they play that highlight reel in the Brie Larson in the agency video vault or whatever that is, and lest we forget, they stole a nuclear sub, and they play the clip from Fast 8, but it really seems like they're trying to make you think that that's the same sub from F8, and no, that's not the same sub. That most definitely blew up at the end of that movie. So did Cypher steal another submarine? Wouldn't that have been like massive news? So I feel like that's a bit of a continuity error cheat somehow, even more than resurrecting yet another character. But finally, the most hilarious thing that I can see in this movie that was not supposed to be funny is that there are several moments in this movie where Dom is in the garage and looks over the family photos, and it's incredibly obvious that these are just production stills from the the freeze frame from the movie, and just put a thumbtack in there on the wall there with it. And some of these shots, I mean, some of these, maybe there was a photographer somewhere in the crowd where they were doing that, but one of them is the big establishing shot in Furious 7 where they're all standing on the big parking lot overlooking LA, and the wide shot in that scene is very obvious. There's no other people over there, so no one's taking a picture of them in that lineup in that scene. It's hilarious. And I mean, yeah, we're used to unintentional comedy in these movies, but that just smacked me of laziness, frankly, on the production's parts. Like you couldn't like get these actors in and maybe take a picture and then digitally DH them in the photo. I mean, sure, it might not look as convincing as as from the movies themselves from back then, but at least you're not just printing out a freeze frame from a movie from the movie prior. So, like I said, these are niggles in my opinion, but overall, I had a good time with this movie. What did you think of Fast X? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about your analysis? Do you agree? Disagree? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which I believe the schedule holds will be for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So be sure to look for that. And if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching. But just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.